Welcome back to a Timey-Wimey pod where we watch every episode of Doctor Who from 2005 onwards. I'm Rebecca,
I'm Haley.
and today we are discussing End of Time, Part 1. We are here, David Tennant's last story, kind of, for now, let's just pretend, as the 10th Doctor. Haley, how are we feeling?
I am feeling like we need to take a moment of silence for the Doctor Who Series 4 intro sequence.
I know this is it, because is there a sequence on End of Time Part 2?
I think there is, but I just wanted to mention it while I was thinking about it, because we'll have a lot to talk about next week, and I just really wanted to give it a proper moment, because this intro,
The opening credits
opening
sequence,
credits,
yeah.
something magical about it.
It is
this whole season.
Probably still like my favorite one. Like just this original vortex tunnel. It's comforting. Like every time I see it, every time I see that surfboard logo, I know I'm home.
I was going to say it reminds me of home.
Exactly.
But to answer your question, I'm in disbelief that we are talking about End of Time Part 1 and that this is honestly the end of the 10th Doctor era.
We're like finishing RTD1. It's insane.
It's insane. Like we say this literally every week, like, oh, I can't believe we're here. It's come by so fast. But here I am saying that same thing again because
no, it doesn't feel real that we're actually done. I'm like, where did the time go? Like, it's crazy. Are you ready for some fantastic facts?
Yes.
So this episode was written by Russell T Davies, of course, and directed by Euros Lyn, icon legend. He is the moment. And it aired December 25th, 2009. So officially, this is our last Christmas special of the year.
Yeah, and that was kind of making me emo that this is the last RTD1 Christmas episode.
Yeah, that's true.
Us both remembering what this episode is, and like, actually, maybe we're not that sad.
As far as Christmas specials go, and obviously Christmas is not the point of this episode, but it's probably one of the least Christmassy ones.
Oh, Christmas? Where is it?
Yeah.
It's like in the opening, like 5 minutes in the beginning, and I feel like that's basically it.
Thank goodness for the Timothy Dalton narration for constantly reminding us that it's Christmas. Otherwise, we wouldn't know.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
So, my first fantastic fact for you today is that the Elder Ood we see the Doctor talking to in the beginning of the episode, he is voiced by Brian Cox from Succession.
Wait, I just glitched because this is frying my brain currently. Interesting.
And he later plays Sidney Newman in An Adventure in Space and Time.
Dang.
Yeah. Which you have not seen, correct?
Correct.
Okay. It's good. It's worth watching. I don't know if we need to do an episode about it. If you guys want that, let us know. But it's a fun watch. The working title for this episode was The Immortality Gate. Yeah. Haley's face is dead inside.
Yeah, I'm glad they stuck with End of Time Part 1.
And the other almost title was The Final Days of Planet Earth.
That's so like cliche.
I know. Like we just did Stolen Earth. And also way too long.
Way too long.
Yeah, End of Time is a good title, though I will say, like, nothing in this special, it never really feels, the stakes don't really feel that high. Like, it doesn't feel like End of Time, the last days of Planet Earth high.
Oh, yeah, Last of the Time Lords, I keep mixing up Sound of the Drums, Last of the Time Lords, whichever one comes first. I feel like those stakes were so high, and it was so obvious immediately. But the end of time, which is supposed to be literally the end of time, it's like, oh, this is happening. Okay.
Like, I can't even, besides the Master taking over in part 2, I'm like, what even really happens? Like, I think Gallifrey's in the sky. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess.
Exactly.
In an early version of this story, Russell actually had the Doctor and Master swap bodies, but he decided not to do that because it would be weird to have one of David Tennant's last episodes as the Doctor, not playing the Doctor. And he also remembered that he already wrote New Earth, where he already did that. So they pulled the idea.
I was about to say, it sounds very Cassandra-like. Thank goodness he did not do that. That is the last thing we needed between the Doctor and the Master.
It'd be interesting, but not for David's last episode. Like,
exactly.
You can't do that.
It would be interesting if it was earlier in his run and a completely different episode that could have dove into it in a better way. I'm just like, that's my reaction to thinking of it being in this episode. Like, absolutely not.
Totally. So this episode, End of Time, it's an interesting one. So there's this tweet that I saw months and months ago, and Haley and I both tried to like hunt down this tweet today so we could read it because it really perfectly summarizes this episode. We cannot find it, but basically the tweet was like, End of Time is a lot of like campy nonsense mixed in with like really emotional character driven scenes and dialogue, and nothing more true has ever been said because there's a lot of nonsense. There's a lot of ridiculousness in this episode.
There is so much ridiculousness in this episode. And to be completely honest, like, it has been so long since I watched End of Time, part
Same.
1 or part 2. So I was like, what even happens in part 1? The only thing I remember is the very big nonsense stuff. Like the Master just flying at the quarry.
Yeah.
And everyone becoming the Master at the end of this episode. That's what I remembered. I did not remember most of anything else, which I just find
That's
so
interesting.
funny.
Yeah, because this isn't one I always watch, and sometimes I will skip this when I'm doing a rewatch just because it's a bummer. It's kind of a bummer. And also like regenerations, they're sad. They're not fun to watch. But this, I do feel like I remember everything pretty well. Like, it's kind of a messy episode, but it's also
Yeah.
iconic. And while scrolling through Twitter, I feel like the two opinions on this episode are it's the best episode ever, I love it, or this is a hot mess, garbage fire. And those were really the two thoughts.
My take is that it is absolutely, part 1 especially, is a hot mess dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
But it has so much camp, even though they're completely ridiculous, that I can't write it off and I can't be like, this is the worst episode ever, when
Oh, no.
sometimes you just like to sit back and watch a hot mess garbage episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah. I feel like it's not worthy enough to be the 10th Doctor's final story, which is why I mentioned earlier in a couple episodes back where I'm like, maybe Journey's End, maybe we should have gone off on that high, but it was worth it to get more Wilf. We need to talk about Wilf. He really saves like this episode, the next episode.
Without Wilf, these 2 episodes I would completely write off. Like, to be honest, like, he is what keeps me going and kept me watching in part 1. Because here's the thing. I know I just said, like, sometimes you want to, like, sit back and watch a hot mess, garbage Doctor Who episode, and I still stand by that.
Yeah.
In saying that, I agree with you. Like, this just isn't what the 10th Doctor's ending story should have been. It's messy, it's convoluted. There's so many questions I've had, and watching part 1, even though I've seen it so many times, like, it's very interesting that this is the end. I feel like Journey's End would have been a much stronger end, or possibly, hear me out, I saw a tweet talking about this, and also in my search earlier, trying to find the tweet we're talking about. For this tweet, like, what if the Doctor regenerated at the end of Waters of Mars? And I don't know how I feel completely about that, but that was kind of interesting. So basically what I'm getting at is I wish his end was stronger if it were not for the last 10-15 minutes of part 2, this two-parter would not be one I would ever watch, to be completely
Yeah.
honest. Also, if Wilf was not in it, I also would not
Mhm.
watch it because I love Bernard Cribbins so much. And he just brings this warmth to these episodes and to his role that no one else could have brought.
No. He is so fantastic. He plays the character so well. He's so sweet. He's really just the best part. I love like
Mhm.
his like gang of old people friends and like them all tracking down the doctor. It's nonsense, but it's great. I love it. But
Me
let's
too.
talk about the doctor on the Ood planet, the planet of the Ood, you could say. When we see the doctor coming out of the TARDIS with the those terrible sunglasses and the lei, I like to call this the 10th Doctor's party phase or his bachelor phase because he's just like running around doing whatever he wants. Canonically, this is after Day of the Doctor, which is always kind
Yeah.
of funny to think about.
Mhm.
He's just running from his problems. Very different from where we saw him at the end of Waters of Mars. How do you feel about that?
As like vain as he is in this scene, I do love this scene a lot.
Yeah.
I can't lie, it's just classic. To answer your question though, sorry, I'm very long-winded today. But to answer your question, I feel like it's actually pretty consistent from where
Mm.
we last saw him. We last saw him confronted with what his actions caused. It caused Adelaide to take her own life. And he saw the results of Time Lord Victorious. And we know at this point he's already super full of himself, super vain, much more so than he has been previously. So, of course, he's going to run away instead of face his death and face a regeneration. So, that to me feels consistent that he's just running around, trying to like run away from all his problems.
No, I agree with you. It is consistent to me. Like, I do kind of wish we sit a little bit longer with the whole Time Lord Victorious thing. Like,
Yeah.
there's such a big lead up to that, and then it kind of goes away almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree it's very consistent. Like, we see him at the end of Waters of Mars be like, no, and then start flying away. So it makes sense that he's running around, running away from his problems. It tracks. The poor Ood are having bad dreams. Everyone's having bad dreams. Wilf's having bad dreams, and even the Ood are having bad dreams.
Those poor Ood, they have been through so much and now they're plagued with legitimate nightmare fuel.
I need to know what the lifespan of an Ood is. Because Ood Sigma, he's been around at least 100 years.
That is such a good point. I don't know. I feel like I need to see if there is an answer to that after we
Oh, I'm
finish
sure.
recording.
But this is where we see a glimpse of our girl, Lucy Saxon.
Lucy Saxon, they will never make me hate you. You deserved so much better than the ending you got.
Yeah, no, it's so sad. And the doctor confirms that everything that happened in series 3 wasn't her fault. Now, I remember him saying like it wasn't her fault, like she was being mind controlled, something like that, but all he says is she was corrupted, which then I was like, oh, when you just say it like that, I almost don't feel as bad for her. Like, there's a big difference between being corrupted and being mind controlled. So that kind of caught me off guard.
Wait, now you're catching me off guard.
Yeah, but I still, it wasn't her fault. She did what she had to do. And I still have so many questions about who she is. Like, we get even
Yeah,
more into like my family has connections. Like, girl, who are you? Who's your family? Like, who were you before the master randomly chose you? Like, why you? It's so fascinating to me.
very fascinating. And it's so sad that we like never get any more information about her or her background because she's just a character that is so intriguing. Like, I want to learn more and like her psychology. And I feel like two things are true at once. She was 100,000% a victim of the master, mind controlled by
Yeah.
him, but she's also not completely innocent at the same
No.
time.
Yeah. She was going along with the whole prime minister thing for sure. And then we have this whole master resurrection plot. This make any sense to you? Because who are this like Church of Saxon people, the ancient texts of Harold Saxon? Like this is crazy. This is ridiculous.
All of it is too much. Like, they mention the ancient writings of Harold Saxon and this book of Saxon secrets or something like that. And there's this mention of like the Saxon cult, and like, yeah, that's interesting as a storyline, but it would have been better if there was some like lead up to it. It's just
Mhm.
like so incredibly random. And the visuals of him being resurrected. No, thank you. No,
Yeah.
thank you. There's a reason why I always forget.
Yeah. Just the whole concept of this cult of Harold Saxon just really doesn't make sense when everyone lost all their memories of that year. But sure, okay. I do love that like Lucy was like, and I've also been planning, and they just somehow had the connections to get this like random serum that doesn't seem like it did anything to him. If anything, it made him stronger, but pop off.
Okay, so I guess like the potion, I did look this up because I was a little confused. It was a little hard to follow along. So I looked it up. Apparently, this potion is what caused Harold Saxon, or sorry, the master, to glitch between being a skeleton and being himself. And so essentially that's why he was hungry and he was actually like dying until he got to the immortality gate and healed himself.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, that makes a little more sense. You know what? Love that Lucy had a secret plan. R.I.P. Lucy. You didn't deserve to go out this way. Justice for or girl Lucy. Who are you?
Yeah.
Who's your family? What's the tea?
What is the tea? I also feel like it would have been really interesting if there was some sort of Torchwood connection between the potion and her using it. Like, her turning
Yeah.
on him, like, I feel like that could have been a cool
No.
moment, even if it was just throwaway line.
No, you're so right. Now, the master is the most unhinged we have ever seen him in this episode. He is absolutely like they take the craziness a little too far, but I will say
Mhm.
John Sims sells it so well.
Yeah, that is what I love about John Sims in this episode especially. Like, there's so much nonsense that he does in this episode, and he just pulls it off masterfully. It's camp, it's ridiculous, but it's kind of fun at the same time.
Yeah, totally. No, he does really have a lot of great moments throughout this special. I will say the master is another reason I come back to this special.
Oh, yeah.
I just any episode with the master I am going to enjoy watching, and I think he and David Tennant, they do have some really great moments, especially in next week's episode. But even here, like their quarry scenes are really great. I love when he's talking about like his father's estates and like the fields and the blah blah blah. Like that was a really
Mhm.
great moment. Even when he's talking to the other two men right before he like eats them, which the master like canonically eating those people lives in my head rent free. That's kind of crazy.
It's actually insane. Why did he become a cannibal? But is he even a cannibal if it's a Time Lord eating humans, which are a different race?
Oh, wait. Loki, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Also, side note, I cannot believe that I'm about to publicly admit this piece of
Oh no.
lore about myself. But back in the day, I would get really excited to get to this episode, specifically to watch the starving scene with the
It's
master.
really funny. Something about that scene really does live like rent free in my head.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about it. I just always look forward to watching this clip. And I think because I will always carry that version of me in my heart, I
Mm,
still do. It's camp, okay? It's just camp.
yeah, it is. It is. And again, like not many people could pull it off, but John Sim somehow pulls it off.
Exactly. And I do find it so comical that there's this whole like standoff between the master, and then over here pops up Wilf and his whole gang of people, and it's just so funny. And they're like, "Here, take a picture with us."
Okay, first off, like when the doctor and the master are like basically sniffing each other out, like that is literally the only time in the show that the doctor can actually sense there's another Time Lord. And
Oh
only
my
because
gosh,
he
you're
knows
so
that
right.
the master is like around.
If you've been here on our podcast for a while, we have gone into it at length about how the Doctor can never sense whenever there's another Time Lord. But this is the one time he does. You're so right.
Yeah. He's always like, if there was another Time Lord, I would know. Cue so many other Time Lords. He never has an idea at all.
Exactly.
But yeah, I do love the what did you call it? The silver cloak or something. The idea that they just want to take a photo with him because he's a nice, handsome young man is so funny to me.
Yeah, Minnie was cracking me up.
Minnie,
But
girl.
also that I want to say, like, she was cracking me up until they were taking the picture and she like gripped him, and I was like, I don't remember this. Minnie, why were you
Oh,
doing that?
yeah, I hate that. It makes me
Mm-mm.
cringe every time.
Ick.
Like, for what? So another bad part about this episode is this weird freaking dad and daughter duo.
So up until this time I was watching, for some reason I had it in my mind that the dad was the prime minister. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know why that was in my head. I then realized that, oh no, this is just a random billionaire.
Yeah, he's just some random tech billionaire. These two have such a weird dynamic. Like, it doesn't read as
Yeah.
dad and daughter at all. And he's
No.
like obsessed with making his daughter immortal, but he doesn't want to be immortal. Like, why?
Exactly. Like, is she dying of something?
And listen, like David Harewood, he's a great actor. He was in Supergirl, he was in
Yeah.
Selfie with Karen Gillan. We love him, but I every time I see them in this episode, I get annoyed. I'm like, stop pissing me off. You guys are so boring. I don't understand your
No, they
plot
are.
at all. Who are you? Why are you here?
That's what I want to know. I'm like, why did they have to be in this plot? Like, I feel like there's no like the whole immortality thing. I'm like, why aren't you just focusing on the return of the master and the return of Gallifrey? Like, that
Yeah.
alone is so significant, but you're bringing this random daddy daughter duo who don't seem like a father daughter pair.
No, they're so weird. I think this
So
episode suffers from having too much going on. He is spinning too many plates in the air and it just doesn't quite work. Like, we have this weird dad and daughter, we have the master coming back, we have Gallifrey returning, the doctor's dying, Wilf is here, Donna's here. Like, there's just a little too much going on. Like in Journey's End, there's a lot going on and it kind of works. Here, there's too much going on and it gets confusing and it doesn't work.
agreed.
Another major side character in this episode is, for some reason, Barack Obama. It's a major plot point of this episode.
This plot point, it makes me laugh hysterically every time I'm reminded. Like, I just need to know if in real life Barack Obama has any idea the show Doctor Who even exists, yet alone they like kind of feature him. Like, not really, but kind of.
I mean, that stand-in, like, even the back of the head, I'm like, I know for a fact that's not Barack Obama's head, but sure, we'll pretend. Also, the fact that, like, how is he saving the world with his financial plan? Also, like, what does that have to do with the UK? Like, it reminds me of Wilf and Turn Left when he's like, America will save us. Like, everyone in this episode thinks Barack Obama's gonna save them. And I'm like, why? And then to cap it all off, Russell decided to write that Barack Obama turns into John Sim, America's first and as of 2025 only black president was turned into a white guy. And that that is somehow in this episode. Like, what are we doing?
Like, I just find it so funny at this point. Like, it's so ridiculous that it's hilarious to me, but like, why did Russell, come on, sit down. Why did you choose to do this?
It's so it's so random. Just think about the way American presidents have been used in the show up to this point. The first one, fake guy who was killed by coincidentally John Sim, the master.
Yeah.
And then our real life president, Barack Obama, was turned into John Sim, the master.
Yeah, the history with presidents in the show is so interesting.
Yeah.
Why Barack Obama? I still ask.
It's so random. It's so, and the idea that he's doing this big press conference on Christmas Day to save the world for what?
For what? Like, you couldn't wait a day to announce your financial plan? No one's let me tell y'all, even back then when Barack Obama was our president, if you told us to tune in on Christmas Day, do you know how Americans work? They would not do that. They would say,
No.
we'll wait until tomorrow.
Yeah. I was just thinking about all the poor journalists in that press room who had to come in on Christmas Day to listen to this speech.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. And then they become the master. Sorry, I just like had the image pop in my head, like how it pans from Barack's face being the John Sims to everyone in the room being John Sims. And you know what? At that point, I just lean into it.
He had to do 30 costume changes for that scene alone.
Which is actually insane.
Yeah. If I was John Sim, I would have been so annoyed. Like, I would have hated having to do all those costume changes. That sounds so annoying. But again, somehow he pulls it off. And yeah, the GIFs and the scenes of him like jumping up and down in that dress, and like it's so funny.
It is. Trinity Wells also becomes John Sims.
Yeah, she does.
And everyone becomes John Sims except for Wilf and Donna. Which, oh, by the way, that's when Donna has her memories triggered.
Oh yeah, right at the very end. I do love that we find out she gives Wilf the book about the weird dad. And that, you know, there's a piece of her that's still fighting and still making connections and still seeing things. And I just love that. And I think it fits really well with what we know of Donna later on.
I completely agree. I also like that we get a little life update for Donna. It's been a while. It's been over a year since the events of Journey's End, and she's engaged to Sean Temple.
Yeah, another wedding.
Another wedding. Speaking of Donna, in the diner scene, is it a diner, restaurant, cafe? I don't know, whatever it is. Cafe scene between Tin and Wilf. Wilf tells Tin that sometimes I see this look on her face like she's so sad and she can't remember why. This line always like makes me so emotional.
I know, it's so sad. And just to think of like Donna and like what she's gone through, like it must be so weird from her perspective to just have all this chunk of time from your life missing.
Yeah, and like not even realize it's missing, but also to some extent like she does realize that. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it's Donna, my girl. By the way, this cafe scene, best scene of the episode. And we find out that Wilf kind of like tricked the doctor to going to this specific cafe because he knew Donna was going to show up. And yeah, the doctor's reaction to seeing her, it just, it really breaks my heart. And Wilf being like, see, like, wouldn't she make you feel better? Wouldn't she make you laugh? Like, I don't care that, like, everything gets resolved in the 60th. Like, it's still heartbreaking to me. Like, this scene still cuts really deep, and I still feel the emotions of it.
Me too. The 60th specials for me, they don't erase anything of what happens in series 4 to Donna. And I feel like even in the 60th specials, like I never felt like, oh, even though it's all resolved and it's all fine now, like none of that really mattered. Like, no, it did matter because it did impact Donna, and they made sure to mention that in the 60th. So yeah, whenever I'm watching these episodes, it still cuts deep, even though I know things are resolved in the future, and she does get her memories back.
Exactly. I want to talk more about this cafe scene and go back to the beginning because it really is the best scene in this episode. And it starts with Wilf talking about like the good old times, the Atmos, the paintball gun, which did the doctor see Wilf with the paintball gun?
No, now that you're saying that, he didn't.
I always think about that.
That's so funny.
And the doctor wonders, why Wilf? Like, why do they keep getting drawn together? And then very dramatically, he says, I'm going to die.
Sorry. Yeah, it's very dramatic. Very dramatic. And Wolf is just like, well, yeah, we're all gonna die someday.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I
am
am
I.
too.
Yeah. I love how he says, don't you dare. That's one of like the sweetest
Yeah.
moments ever. So
I
sweet.
always think about that line every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Wolf asks, what's so important about me? And Tin is like, yeah, what is so important about you? Which, like, the way he says it, I'm just like, that's a little cold.
Yeah, it's like when he's scanning Donna in Runaway Bride, and he's like, "You're not special, not an alien, not slithering." Like, it's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
And then he talks about, how he's going to regenerate. And this speech, or not speech, but these lines always stay with me, and I think about them every single regeneration episode, and it's so heartbreaking. He says, even though it's not dying, it feels like dying. Everything I am
Mhm.
dies. Some new man goes wandering off away, and I'm dead. That is so sad. Just the idea that it still feels like dying, and when every doctor regenerates, like they feel like they're dying, and it is like some new man, some new woman goes wandering off, and it's just it's really heartbreaking to think about.
Yeah, this whole interaction between Tin and Wolf just really puts in perspective of just how much a regeneration affects the doctor, because I feel like you just assume like, oh, like the old doctor is still in there, which is true to an extent,
Hmm.
but it is that version of them passing away and like never seeing this face again, except this is David Tennant we're talking about. So this is not the last time we see his face, folks.
Yeah, well, we'll see him again a couple times. But yeah, he is really what I call like his at his most emo sad boy in this scene.
Hmm.
And one thing that really breaks my heart about this whole story and just Ten's regeneration in general is how sad it is. Like, it is probably the
Yeah.
saddest up to this point. And the fact that, like, this doctor in particular was born out of love, like, he was born saving
Stop.
Rose, it just makes me so sad to think about that. To think about how young and full of hope he was in Christmas Invasion, to like how sad and lonely and like, just burnt out and burdened by everything he is here. Like, he's come so far in a bad way. Like, he's lost so much. It's so sad.
Ugh. That parallel just cut me deep right now. That was really
Yeah.
painful, Rebecca.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Had to do it to him. Yeah, I do love when he's like crying and then he's like, Merry Christmas. Like, the way he says that is so great. I feel
Yeah.
like we've all had those moments.
Oh, definitely. And I always find it so sad that like Tin just gets up and exits the cafe, and Wolf thinks,
Yeah.
oh, maybe he's going after Donna, but then well, as soon as Wolf is outside, the doctor is gone.
Yeah. How do you feel about the use of Donna in this episode? Because she's around a lot. And I wonder if people kind of thought that maybe she was going to become a bigger part of the plot, or maybe get her memories back in the second part of this episode. But how do you feel about the way Donna's used here?
Oh, I think that was probably the assumption for a lot of viewers. I knew that was like my assumption when I first watched the show. I feel a little torn. For the most part, I really love the scenes we get with Donna. We get classic Donna moments. We get to see her on Christmas Day with Sylvia and Wilf and Sean, and love seeing domestic scenes. Like
Yeah.
regardless of what companion it is, that those are always my favorite. But I don't know. I don't know if these scenes are just like, sometimes they just feel like they're there to fill up space, but other
Mm.
times I'm like, I don't know, maybe we did need to see this part of Donna's life to see that she's okay. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm torn.
I agree. I have stuff to say about how she's used in next week's episode, but I'll save it.
Mhm.
But I do like all the scenes of her in this episode. It's very comforting to see Donna. And yeah, I like all the domestic scenes and getting the peek into the noble Christmas and get to know Sean a little
Mhm.
bit. It's nice.
It is nice. And Wolf goes to the TV to watch Queen Lizzie. Rest in peace, Queen. Literally rest in peace.
Time ladies love to mysteriously appear on TVs.
Time anyone, because I had flashbacks, or should I say flash forwards, of Rogue.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that's so funny because I was thinking of the like Susan flash right before Rogue shows up.
Stop, that's so funny. Yeah, honestly, both of those. RTD loves a good TV flash. Okay, do we want to get into our theories and thoughts and feelings on the Time Lady this week, or save that for next week? Because I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, let's just, if we can, kind of talk about her in this episode alone, which is hard, but
It is hard.
um yeah, there's a lot of theories, but I do kind of like that at the end of the day we never really know exactly who she is.
It's hard to like speak about her in the context of just this episode because
Yeah.
there's so much. But basically, I like that Wolf is the only person to see her. I find that so fascinating. I find her being in this episode in general really intriguing. Definitely
Mhm.
like keeps up the suspense of like, who is she and like what role is she playing? I wish there was, again, it's just like this episode is a product of too many things going on at
Yeah.
once. I think if they took out the weird daddy to daughter storyline, like I think it would be stronger, and I think there would be, I don't know, I think the Time Lady would have come across even better in part 1 specifically.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say about her in this part. I do really like the church scene in the beginning when she's talking to Wilf and she's telling the story of the sainted physician who, came down and, smoked the demon that fell from the sky or whatever. And also the TARDIS in stained glass goes hard. It looks great.
Oh, it looks so good. There is one quote though that the Time Lady says that I really liked, so I wrote it down. And it's when she's telling Wilf that only you stand at the heart of coincidence. You're an old soldier, sir. Only you were too late. The war was won and passed you by. The time will come when you must take arms. Don't tell the doctor anything. Which is very interesting, and that always lives rent
Mhm.
free.
Yeah, and I love how, Wilf is like, "Well, I served my time," and she says, "Well, you never killed anyone." And Wilf says, "Well, don't say that like it's shameful." That's
Yeah,
such a great line
so
and such a
good.
great performance from Bernard Cribbins. And I love Wilf so much. He's so
Me
sweet.
too. He is.
And then we get the Doctor and the Master finally, getting their big reunion. And I love the scene where the Doctor is able to hear the drums for the first time in the Master's head. And the Master feels so validated that it's real. He, shoots up into the sky, literally. And then, like, a fake helicopter comes to take him away. But what do you think about this scene between the Doctor and the Master in the quarry, whatever, wherever they are?
Okay, there are moments between them that I like. Like you were talking earlier about when the master's talking about how his father had estates, and there's like that interesting lore that's expanded upon. And, you know, the rivalry between the doctor and the master is always so fun to watch. But
Mm-hmm.
watching this, I was reminded one, why I never watched this episode really, and two, why when I do, I kind of skip around because it gets to a point between them at the quarry that is just so much with the magic coming out of the master's hands and him hitting the doctor and the doctor like falling, but that's basically it. It's just it's a lot and
Yeah.
it kind of drags on.
I love Sylvia. There's a reason I can never fully hate Sylvia, because she's so funny. I love when she's yelling at the doctor and Wilf is like, "You're not leaving me with her," and the doctor says, "Fair enough," and then she's just like shouting at them for a good minute after the TARDIS is long gone for them to come back. And I love Donna being like, "Are you shouting at air?" And she's like,
Yeah.
yes, I am. She's so funny, and the actress really pulls it off. Like, that's why I can never hate Sylvia, because I love her. She's so funny.
She is really funny, and I do love that moment where she's chasing after Wolf and the doctor. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm. And we finally get Wilf in the TARDIS.
Yes, it's about time.
And he thought it would be cleaner.
Which is so funny. And I cracked up too that the doctor was just rambling on and was like, "Did you understand what I just said?" And Wolf was like, "Not any of it."
This is one of our last scenes with this TARDIS interior.
Wait, you're so right. Wait, that makes me so sad.
Yeah, it's not everyone's favorite, but for us, we love it. It's nostalgic, and I don't know, there's something about it.
It's just so like cozy and warm and comforting.
Yeah.
Isn't my number one? No, but
No.
it kind of is at the same time, if that makes sense.
Like the surfboard logo, I see it and I feel at home.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a question for you. And honestly, we've posed a couple of questions in this episode, but why is the master on a dog leash and a dog collar?
I don't think I noticed the leash, but I mean, it makes sense. He's kind of crazy. Like, he could eat all those people if they don't restrain him. You see how he ate that turkey?
You're so right, but at the same time, it's like, why that? Why that as the restraint?
Also, why did they bring the master back for this? Why were they like, we're trying to make this immortality gate? You know who we need? The dead prime minister. That's who we need.
Yeah, like
you couldn't find anyone else.
Like, you're not calling up the doctor. You're not calling up Jack Harkness. You're not calling up anyone else. Like
anyone,
and like it's like such a throwaway line thing that the weird daddy daughter duo is like a part of the cult of Saxon. Like, I just feel like that's never expanded upon really.
And
I don't know.
The whole
like,
cult of Saxon thing isn't explained
weird
at all.
Like, it's not.
Yeah. Oh, another really great master moment from earlier that I forgot to mention is when the doctor's like, something's coming back. Like, the ooh told me. And the master's like, yeah, I'm right here. Hello.
Yeah, that does crack me up. And then Tin's like, no, something worse.
Something bigger than us. We have to work together. Oh, and then I love when he's telling Wilf about the ood. And Wilf is like, what's a nude? And the doctor says, it's just a nude.
Yeah, that one is great.
Shimmer.
Okay, I do love, I want to say cacti, but I know that's racist. So the cactus is, I love them. I love them.
They're great.
Okay, they're great.
They are fun, and they definitely act like aliens pretending to be humans, which is fun. But they definitely add to there's a lot going on in this episode.
Yeah, like they're the salvage team for the immortality device. Yeah, it just adds so much. It does. It really adds a lot. But at the very end of this episode, we do get a good gag-worthy moment when Gallifrey returns.
You're right. I almost skipped over it. Yeah, Gallifrey's returning. Honestly, I gotta be honest. Like, I saw recently people talking about this moment and talking about like how good it is, and it is a good moment. It hits hard. It goes crazy. Timothy Dalton's great, but I don't know. If you ask me to rank or say all my favorite Doctor Who reveals, this wouldn't make the list.
Oh, I'm completely with you on that. Like, this doesn't make the list, and it's because, like, this whole two-parter is such a disappointment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of spoiling next week's episode how I feel. Like, when it comes to Gallifrey returning, it's just a really big letdown. They had an opportunity to do something incredible, and they, I don't know, kind of flops.
Yeah.
But I have recently appreciated it a little bit more. And I think that's just because I've seen the clip going around and reactors reacting to it. And I think that's like brought some of that to the surface for me, that I appreciate it. But yeah, it doesn't make my list of gag-worthy moments from the show.
Yeah.
But, you know, this episode is rough. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't really realize how hard it would be to talk about this without talking about part 2.
Me too. But I do want to end on a positive note about what I do like about this episode. And I love Wilf and his crew. And I think it is a gag that Gallifrey returns. And I love the Time Lady. And I find that interesting. The choices, though, are choices.
Oh, yeah. No, despite like everything we've said, I can never fully hate on this episode, End of Time in general, because we do get so many great character moments. You know, I'll say it once, I'll say it a million times. Wolf is great. I love him getting like the gang of old people together to find him. That's really fun. Yeah. And I love seeing the Master come back. So despite all the ridiculousness, I can never fully hate on this episode.
I completely agree with you. As much as I've shared what I dislike about this episode, I will never fully write it off. It's one of those Doctor Who episodes.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy that we all saw this episode and we said, hey, let's give that Russell guy another go.
You're actually right. You're not wrong.
We probably should have known.
Yeah, we should have known. But with all of that said, thanks for listening to us talk about this episode. And join us next week when we tackle the End of Time Part 2, talk about the end of the 10th Doctor's era, talk about so many iconic moments from End of Time Part 2, and more. And make sure you're following our YouTube channel, A Timey Wimey Pod, because we're going to be posting a video. And not next week, but the week after. Instead of a regular podcast episode, we're going to be doing a YouTube video. So definitely go follow us so you'll know when that comes out. And then follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Timey Wimey Pod. And please email us anything, any like questions, thoughts, reactions to what we've said. Let us know. Email to timeywimeypod@gmail.com. And if you could leave us a 5-star review, it would really help the show out. Tell your friends about the show. You know, we may be finishing season 4, but I feel like we're still kind of like a new, young, small, growing podcast. So anything you can do to help us out, we would appreciate it. And it's been really fun to do this journey with all of you. And I can't wait to talk about it again next week. But until then, we will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys. Bye. Ta-ra.